Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Today is Monday, so happy Monday and happy, happy something, happy Russian Easter that was this Sunday. Let's celebrate new day, new week, and new opportunity to get closer to that goal, to that dream of yours that you want to get closer to. So every day wake up and think about that this is the opportunity to start new and start getting closer to the life that you want to live, to that goal, to the dream, whatever that might be, guys. So today is a new day, it's a new opportunity to craft and architect and design your life. And today we are talking about a very related to that coaching concept, not coaching concept, but coaching skill that I use with my clients all the time. And I learned it and mastered it with precision nutrition certification. And now I'm getting certified for level 2 coaching certificate. I'm gonna be a master coach and we're gonna work more on this specific coaching skill that you can guys use on your own to produce change and at the end of the day to deliver desired outcome or create that goal, that dream, create this change in your life that you want to experience. That might be health, that might be having more energy, that might be being more productive, that might be creating this new business that you think about, that might be starting and finishing new course, maybe getting another certificate like I'm doing right now, whatever that might be. But specifically, we're talking about change in behavior that creates a desired outcome. Let's talk about weight loss because our podcast is a lot about health, it's a lot about fitness and eating habits and healthier habits, and yes, weight loss, because our food environment these days is designed that way. So if we don't put our focus into that area, at least for a period of time, that we might end up being fat and being sick and low in energy and nearly that at the end of the day. And that's the worst thing, being that emotionally and mentally not looking forward to your days, but instead feeling like it's a struggle. So coaching through change, coaching through the change of our habits, of our behaviors. Like, how do we do that according to the best coaching science that we have today? First, guys, you can't optimize for everything. I like to repeat this phrase over and over again. You can't optimize for everything. First, we gotta choose what we are optimizing for, or what we are changing for. Basically, first, we gotta choose our goal, our destination. Where do we want to be? If that's the goal related to weight loss, to fat loss, we need to be very precise about this goal, this end destination, that finish line, like what it's going to feel like, look like, how you're going to measure that end results when you know that you reached your goal. Like how does it going to look? How's it going to look? How is it going to feel? You need to be you need to get really precise with defining that goal. The more precise it is, the easier it is going to be to work, the easier it is going to be for you to work through the rest of the steps, and soon you'll understand why. So first we need to understand what's the goal, what's the result, how do we want to look, feel, how can we measure that progress. And so when we reach our destination, our goal, we know that we are there, not like just continuously going somewhere without having a finish line, at least for this stage of our goal, right? So result you want. First, you gotta specify that to optimize all of your strategies for that goal, for that result. Why I'm talking about that is because, for example, losing weight. What is more important to you? To lose the number on the scale at this point? Sometimes it might be a point, if you have really a lot of pounds to lose, then it's not the question of building it with muscles. and losing fat at the same time. The weight, you're still gonna weigh less if you have a lot of pounds to lose, a lot of kilos of fat to lose. But if, for example, someone is trying to lose the last couple of pounds and they're not so much wanting to lose, like a lot of my clients do, they don't really want to lose a number on the scale anymore. They just don't want to be skinny fat. They just want to build up muscle and feel and look leaner. They want to see more muscle definition. So that's the goal. Then the number on the scale might be not the best way to track the progress, because muscles do weigh more even with the less volume. So the number on the scale might stay exactly the same for those people who are trying to lose just a couple of pounds, just a couple of kilos. But because you built muscles, you will look completely different. You built muscles and you lost fat. And I actually did that. The number on the scale stayed completely the same, but I got much leaner. I measured my body fat percentage because I built up muscle and I lost fat at the same time. So that's why you need to be really specific about the result you want and how you're going to measure it, what's meaningful to you, not to someone else, but to you. So result you want, that is number one, to coach yourself through change to a specific result. So first, you need to figure out what that result is. And then step number two, we need to brainstorm about 5 ways. I like to say 5, so you have a variety, you have a choice. 5 ways, 5 behaviors that from, you probably read a lot about your new goal, how to achieve it, different strategies. You probably did some research, and then you figure out for you, what are some 5 behaviors that you could change to start moving the needle forward toward that goal. So that's weight loss. And you might want to brainstorm a few activities, like eat better, less processed foods. That's number one, might be number one. Eat less amount of foods. That might be number 2. Make the eating window, so eat less frequently. That might be number 3. Exercise more. So maybe if you don't exercise at all or very little, maybe adding activities might be one of those. Maybe sleeping better, because sleep does affect our eating behaviors and how our body deposits fat. So 5 behaviors, right? Brainstorm them based on the goal that you set, from all of your research, what are some of the best ways in your mind that you think might really work for you, and they might move the needle forward towards your goal. And guys, if you're someone who's struggling with committing to consistent behavior change, then choose something easy and commit to it first, and build that confidence that you can actually commit to something. So start easy if you struggle a lot with willpower, with motivation, with sticking with some behavior. So 5 behaviors that will move the needle forward for you to your new goal, to your desired destination. So this is step number 2. So step number 1, define your goal in a meaningful and precise way. Step number 2, brainstorm 5 behaviors that will move the needle forward towards that goal of yours that you just defined. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. If you don't have a specific deadline that you just gotta reach, you gotta lose that weight for your wedding in a month, or for that important vacation with your new girlfriend or boyfriend, if you don't have that meaningful deadline for you, and you can allow yourself to stretch it out and keep it easier for yourself, still moving forward, then don't stress it and choose something that will give you just enough progress to move you forward, but not enough stress. So you always feel like, you're struggling with that. The point is, for example, if you decided to eat less, maybe don't go on 1,000 calorie diet or on keto or something, but just instead of adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil, add 1. That's 120 calories, and over time that will lead to weight loss even if you change nothing more. So choose an easier target. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyhow, number one, define precisely and in a meaningful way the goal, the end destination, and also figure out how you're going to track it so you know when you're moving forward and when you reach the goal. Number two, brainstorm 5 behaviors that will, from all of your research, all of the data that you gather, that will move you closer toward that goal consistently. So choose 5 behaviors, brainstorm them. And then number 3, choose just one, guys. And again, you might choose the easiest one if you're really struggling with motivation, with sticking with change. You might choose the hardest one, but the one that will keep you motivated, because you reach some progress much faster. See like what kind of personality you have, like whether you have deadline or not, and what works for you based on your past experience. So choose one based on that, either the simplest one or the one that will produce the most change and will give you the most motivation that you need to keep moving forward. So choose one and stick with that for at least a week, with just one behavior change for at least a week. We recommend with precision nutrition coaching, our recommendations is to stick with it for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, stick with it, changes behavior. If you decided to eat less, make sure that you're comfortable with that you know how it looks like. Maybe you choose smaller dishes. Maybe you skip one meal. Maybe you again start not using cooking oils for a while. Maybe instead of drinking 3 liters of soda, you start drinking 2 liters of soda. That's still progress and quite a lot of calories. So figure out that one thing, guys. Make sure that you know precisely how it looks like, what that behavior looks like on a daily basis. And then for the next 2 weeks, just practice it till it becomes automatic, till it becomes your second nature. And then once you mastered that habit and that produced some change, even if you just, you started to feel better, you started to sleep better, have more energy, even that a slight progress, that's still progress. And so once you practice that one habit, take another habit, take another behavior, and then start working on that, building on top of what you already built during the first 2 weeks when you chose the first behavior. So now choose the second behavior and then start working on that for 2 weeks. And then once you master that, change the third behavior. And at that point, a lot of things start to come together and you will really see and feel the progress. I'm talking about weight loss now, for example, but that also true for any other areas of our life. Like, for example, now I'm working on my coaching skills. I'm getting certified as a level 2 coach with precision nutrition. And so there too, we start slowly. So first, because we're all busy people, we commit to finding the time every day to go through the course material. So the first week was just putting a check mark that you did read the information that they sent to you and you did work through that, and then you put a check mark that you did find the time for that practice on that particular day. Every day. And so that's how we start, slow. And then once we build that, once we committed to finding the time every single day, now everything else is easier, because now we have a habit of having the time every day to work through the course material. So now that we have that, now that's like one of the most important parts, because if you never schedule the time, if you never make the time, then the rest doesn't matter. So if you don't show up for your course material, if you don't learn, if you don't commit to consistent work, right? And then after that, we can build on top of that. So this week, I don't know what it is yet, because today is Monday. I haven't read any material yet, but I know that I have the time. I already scheduled the time and I'm going to go through that, and we're going to work on the next coaching habit. And you see, when you work on becoming a better coach, you also work through a lot of personal stuff, through a lot of your personal inefficiencies and sticking points, because we're all humans, nobody was born perfect. It's just people who are coaches, we work through certain things in our lives. So we know how to help other people to work through the same thing. Like I changed my eating behaviors to the point where I never crave sugar. And it's not just because I became better with my willpower. No, I just built my routines, my behavior, my meal plan with all the nutrients that way. So I just don't crave those foods anymore. And I also learned how to manage my emotions, so I don't need food to manage my emotions, to self-medicate myself with food, right? And so as a coach, we also work through all of this issue, and then we share our experience and guide people who are on the same journey towards similar change that we went through. So anyhow, let's recap the coaching through change process. If you have a goal and you've been failing to make meaningful progress towards it, then maybe you haven't been doing it right, because what happens, I'm sharing with you my experience with clients and myself, is a lot of times, because we're so ambitious and we're so impatient to get the result, we think, okay, I'm just gonna change my whole life around. I'm gonna eat better, eat perfect, I'm gonna exercise every single day, I'm gonna sleep like, I don't know, on schedule every single day, and I'm never gonna eat sugar or pastry again, and blah 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 blah. And we decide that from today we become a new person. But it's not magic, guys, it's life. And so we can't wake up one day and decide to be a completely different person and succeed with that. Like, if that was that easy, everyone would do that. No. But what we can do is we can decide to change over time, and we can decide how we want to change. So that's the end result. And then we can decide what behavior we commit to. So over time, we do become that person that we dreamed of this morning, that we woke up with motivation to change everything. We can decide to commit to one change, to work through that and get progress, and then we decide to work, and we can decide to work on another aspect of our behavior to get even closer to that vision of self that we imagined this morning. And that's how coaching progress actually works. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. But it only happens if we work consistently. And so in order to get consistent results and finally get to that future vision of self or our business or anything in our life, these steps work the best. We set the goal, we define that goal precisely, so we know how to reach it, like be that number on a scale, be that fat percentage, be that certain amount of profit in your business, or cash flow, or something else, be that coaching certificate, or certain amount of clients, or certain amount of talks, or project that you're working on. So define that goal where you want to be precisely. Then brainstorm 5 behaviors that will move you towards that goal. That might be doing more events, for example, if you decide to move forward your coaching career. That might be working with more partners and more companies to bring on board more people, to connect to more people. Different ways, 5 behaviors that will move you forward toward that change, toward that goal that you're seeking to make. And then choose one and work on it through, at the very least 7 days. Usually 2 weeks is a good period of time to work on changing your behavior for life. Not, another crash diet, no, but to change your behavior for life and to keep moving forward toward the vision you have. And even further than that, 2 weeks for new behavior, it's a good thing. And again, my advice here, either start with the simplest one if you've been struggling to make any sort of change and you really have trouble with sticking with anything. So choose the easiest one, but still the one that will allow you to make meaningful progress, or choose what we like to call in precision nutrition big kahuna, or that big wave, big thing that once you change that, it's going to give you so much result and motivation, and it will uplift you so much that you will keep moving forward. So choose two of those. That's a good way to start, and just work on one habit at a time, and you'll be surprised how much more you'll be able to achieve, and how much more you'll be able to change yourself, your life, and anything in it, whatever you put your mind to. It's quite amazing, guys. And that's how it works for most people. For most people, changing everything overnight just doesn't work. And that's why most people never move anywhere. We wake up in the morning, we're so motivated, we want to change our whole life, and that lasts exactly for 2-3 days. And then we're back to our old self, exhausted, tired, and just too drained out of energy that we don't want to do anything anymore. That's like the recipe for disaster and staying the same and getting worse over the years. The path to progress, to new you, to a new life, to your dream, to your goal is gradual but consistent change. And that usually happens when you take one thing at a time, one behavior at a time, and you change it, and then you build on top of that. So hopefully this was helpful, guys. If it was helpful, please let me know. I always love to hear from you how it helped your specific situation. Also, if you are struggling with seeing how you can apply it in your life and how it can help you, also reach out. I can help you. I can talk it through with you, so you know how to exactly tackle a certain dream, a certain goal with this coaching strategies, coaching tool, and then share it with the person who might be struggling to move forward some area of their life, of their health, of their fitness, who are suffering because of that. So share this episode, please. It will help people. And as usual, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for working on yourself and the world around you. And as usual, till next time, eat better daily.